Larry Scott, Commissioner of the Pac12 Conference.
I have to ask you, California, the California laws, the image like this is still just a daily topic throughout the NCAA. From your conference's point of view, what are you trying to do in terms of monitoring and whether you can be proactive within the NCAA on that, or how is that?
Yeah, so we're very engaged in that topic, and it's now gone way beyond California. There are, I think, approximately 30 different states that are contemplating similar state legislation, and there's a lot of interest in Washington as well. So we are very engaged in those conversations. We feel it's important for lawmakers that are going to be weighing in on this to understand some of the unintended consequences, the differences between college sports and, say, pro sports and the Olympic movement. So we're involved in trying to influence it. I mean, it's clear that there's going to be change in this direction. And a lot of it can be very beneficial for student athletes, but we want to make sure that it doesn't undermine the essence of college sports, the fact that it's amateur versus professional, the fact that these are students first, they're not employees. If we're not involved and not careful, there could be a lot of unintended consequences.
Can you expand upon some of the unintended consequences that you mentioned with the new legislation involving the NCAA student athletes, as you put it?
Well, these discussions are still a work in progress, but we do have concerns, based on what's been discussed in California, that, if we're not careful about how any new laws are written, that, the essence of college football that fans love, that these are students, they're not professionals, playing for the love of the game, but they're also going to school, working toward a degree. I want to make sure we don't lose that essence, that they're students first, not employees. I want to make sure student athletes aren't exploited. If you get agents involved negotiating deals on their behalf, these are young men and women, minors in many cases, and I think it's very important that we protect the student athlete. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that what fans love about college sports is differentiated from professional sports remains, and that the primary purpose of college sports is that it's an adjunct to kids getting an education.
Certainly.
And being empowered to go on and be successful in life, and that we don't lose the essence
Certainly.
of that as well.
As the LA Bowl is going to obviously generate a lot of money with these students, athletes playing these games, do you think some of the compensation to go to their betterment, maybe they're to their education, maybe they're to their well-being and their livelihood?
Well, the great thing about all the student athletes that are going to play in the LA Bowl, they're all receiving a full scholarship to be here. So unlike most young people in this country, student debt is a massive problem
I know.
in this country. So every player you see on the field here, in the Mountain West and Pac-12, is on a full scholarship. They're going to have a chance to graduate debt-free, and they receive a lot of other benefits in terms of academic support. The graduation rates for the student athletes that participate in our leagues is on par, if not higher, than other student athletes. So there is a great story to tell in terms of the opportunity and the advantages that student athletes that are playing football have. But having said that, we certainly understand that there are a small handful, but there are a handful of student athletes that have a lot of notoriety and celebrity, and the nature of the laws that are being discussed is that they should be able to receive compensation beyond the opportunity to graduate without any debt whatsoever, and they have the opportunities they have. In some cases, these are students that are the first in their family to go to school. In some cases, they're having a chance to get acceptance into a university that they might not have gotten into otherwise because sport helped them. So that's a story that's not well told, and everyone involved in college sports deserves some blame for that. But above and beyond that, it's clear that the law that was passed in California and other discussions, that there will be opportunities for compensation even beyond that. And the challenge that everyone's trying to sort through is how do you allow that to happen without undermining the amateur and student athlete and collegiate model nature of what we do, which is what our fans love.
Certainly. That must make it challenging for schools in Oregon and Washington, Idaho, et cetera, right?
Well, there is a lot of concern. I've heard some members of Congress talk about this already as not just maintaining what's special about college sports, but maintaining some semblance of a competitive equity and a competitive balance to make sure that the rich don't keep getting richer, and universities from, let's say, smaller states with smaller resources, that they can still compete. One of the beauties of college sports is that we can have a Pac-12 Mountain West football game. We got a lot of high resource schools in the Pac-12, and with significantly more resources than not only other schools within the Pac-12 but Mountain West schools. But the fact that they can get on a football field and play together and have a competitive game, and you don't know the outcome, is one of the great things about college sports. So I know some people are worried that if you open up the floodgates in terms of being able to pay student athletes, it might not always be the case that we could have a competitive balance, and especially schools from small states might have trouble competing. So there is concern about that, and it is one of the topics that's going to get discussed as part of this process.